What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa. With me, as always, the great and powerful, it's Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, buddy.
Tonight's brew is from Green Bench. It's their Postcard Pils. It's an American Pilsner. Simple and to the point. And Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break.
Yes.
What's on tap for tonight? Well, the numbers are in for Captain America Brave New World. And for the naysayers, you're only half right. And for the people that wanted it to be successful, you're only half right. So we're going to get into a little bit of box office analysis on this because it's kind of interesting to see where the Marvel, the MCU, goes from here with this movie.
We've been speculating a lot, and this is the first one to really come out in a while. So,
yeah.
Interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. What else we got, Bubba?
Well, something else dropped recently, and that's Drake's latest. Technically a collab with Party Next Door. Some Sexy Songs for You dropped on Valentine's Day.
And that's the name of the album. It's not just
some sexy songs. I mean, it is a description of it, honestly, but yeah, a lot of people are a bit perplexed as to how this could possibly be Drake's next album after everything that's happened thus far with the Kendrick Lamar beef. So yeah, we're going to talk about that album a bit. We haven't, this isn't about reviewing the album itself, but more about what the strategy looks like moving forward for Drake.
Yeah.
And what the future looks like, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let's get into it right away. No delay. Let's rock.
Okay.
This is episode 451 of the One Beer In podcast. This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open a brew and we see where that one brew takes us. My name is Marco. That's Adam.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's freak it.
Okay.
Okay? All right. You want to tell the people a little bit more about what we're drinking tonight?
I would love to. This, my friends, is the Postcard Pils, American Pilsner from Green Bench Brewing Co. out of St. Petersburg, Florida. It comes in at a 4.7% ABV, 35 IBUs, and we have not just one, but two cold reads.
Ooh.
First one goes as follows. You've got mail. St. Petersburg, Florida, being a popular tourist destination, produced many of the best postcards in the world, if we do say so ourselves. Captured in time, some of the most famous postcards from our city depict locals and tourists enjoying our tropical weather on the world famous green benches. Enlightening. Okay, and this one's about the beer itself. The Postcard Pils. American-style Pilsners, are a refreshing and complex blend of clean lager fermentation, sweet, grainy flavor, and a solid American hop profile. Postcard Pils is brewed with a touch of flaked maize and U.S.-grown Mount Hood hops. Crack it, drink it, recycle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the commission. They do have a literal green bench there.
They do.
So,
I've seen the green bench.
So I guess that's the bit.
Yeah.
That's the bit. Okay, let's do this. Captain America Brave New World. The fourth installment in the Captain America movies, which now brings that to the highest number of in-universe movies for a single character, I believe. Like the rest of them have all been trilogies.
Yeah.
It's the first one to crack 4 movies.
Yeah.
Other than, obviously, if you count the Avengers movies as a series, because that would be 4 as well.
But those are titled Avengers, so I don't think that really...
Yeah.
Doesn't really count.
Yeah.
So...
It's
our first with Anthony Mackie.
Yes.
Taking on the Shield.
And the first of him like really being the star of the movie. I mean, it's a Marvel movie, so there's going to be promises and hopes of other characters poking in and out and stuff. But I mean, he is the
lead.
It's him.
Yeah.
It's his movie. He's all over the posters.
He's him.
Much to the chagrin of racists. And this is his
Not my
vehicle.
Captain America.
Yeah. So I mean, just off top, I mean, going forward, like you're just gonna have to deal with the fact that like he's gonna be, unless they do something crazy, which I would be insulted if they did, but they could at some point like throw another Captain America in, bring Chris Evans back, do something dumb like that.
Yeah, and there has of course been rumors that that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to do that.
I think if anybody involved is smart, they just wouldn't do that.
But they're not.
They're not. They are motivated by one singular purpose, and that's
money.
The green bench.
The green bench. Yeah.
So this movie, long been discussed, and finally we get this Captain America movie after the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show.
Right. Lots of reshoots apparently. It's been pretty infamous in Hollywood how much work this movie went through, how many writers.
Right. In fact, that was one of the things that a lot of detractors would bring up.
Yeah.
Was, well, the budget of the movie must have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Because of how many reshoots and budget cuts and this, that, and the other thing and blah blah blah. What happened to this movie, or what happened to create this movie, must have been an astronomical number. So I was seeing reports of some people being like, it cost like $800 million to make this movie, and I'm like, you can't possibly believe that one movie cost almost $1 billion.
Nearly $1 billion.
Like, I mean,
not yet.
I know you hate black people, but like,
it's not Avatar,
right? Like, just come up with a realistic argument,
Yeah.
Like, this movie's gonna fail. It has to fail because it has to do $1 billion to be successful.
Yeah.
So there was that. There was obviously people who are already tired of the MCU. I mean, and there was non-racist people who just weren't, or just over the MCU, just over like the superhero fatigue thing that we've been talking about for the past like 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah.
And you also have to take into account social media and how movies are advertised nowadays. And like, is it enough? Did you do enough to get the word out?
Yeah.
Are there enough people talking about the movie? So it comes out and it critically bombs.
Yeah.
Comes out
Big
to
time.
a resounding thud.
Yeah.
49% that I just checked as of this recording. Not a good start.
No, very, very bad.
One of the lowest rated, I think the lowest rated Marvel movie, like Marvel proper MCU
movie. Yeah.
So far. So a lot of people are thinking and going, well, it's gonna bomb, right? It has to bomb. And then it comes out and it exceeds expectations.
Yeah.
To the tune of $100 million in the first 4 days.
And projected this weekend, its second weekend, to make another $30 million. So obviously, diminishing returns,
Right.
But nothing to
pretty
sneeze
significant
at.
drop off, but still a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if projections hold, it will break even to maybe exceed the number just slightly. So it could be a just crawling over the finish line box office success.
Yeah.
Or they will at least make they will recoup basically. If the projections hold. So it's just a really interesting situation because every real human being that I've talked to who's seen it has gone, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Your brother saw it, right?
Yeah, my brother saw it. He's, relatively into the MCU still. Was huge into the, the golden age of the MCU as we all were.
Yeah.
But kind of fell off like we did. And I'm not sure if he watched the TV show even, but he came back with a review of it was fine.
Yeah.
It just kind of seem to tie up loose ends in the MCU currently, and that's pretty much all it did. And Harrison Ford is very old.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it.
I think he is definitely getting to the point where it's like, do we need to put him in anymore? I mean, it is fun to see him pop up.
I love Harrison Ford. I love him so much. And it seems like genuinely he's having a better time with all this stuff than he has in a long time.
Yeah. A young Harrison Ford would have been like, I'm not doing
it. Or money. That's it.
Show me the money.
Yeah. Don't interview me. Just give me the money.
I want to do it.
But no, he seems to be having a good time on the press junkets and joking around and being a little surly, but in a fun way. So
yeah, I think people kind of get the bit now.
Yeah.
And I think he's leaning into it a little bit more.
For sure.
I think he probably back in the day was just a cranky old man. Mm-hmm. But I think now he kind of leaned into it. And I think across the board, pop journalists have gotten better.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think a fire was lit under them by like the Nardwards and the Sean Evans to where, and I haven't really thought critically about this, but I'm just kind of coming up with this on the fly.
Okay.
But the idea that, because I see it a lot on like the press junkets, whenever you go on YouTube or TikTok and you see a clip from one of these junkets. First of all, I don't even know how you find the junkets. They just seem to find you. I've never in my life searched for a press junket.
They just film them and just put them randomly on the internet.
They're everywhere
for people to discover.
And yeah, you just like I have looked for actor on actor or like the Hollywood Roundtable stuff like that. I those are interesting to me, but I've never in my life been like, I wonder what The Rock is doing on a press junket for Moana 2. And it just in my life. Now that I've said it out loud, I'm gonna see. It's gonna be all over.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Or when something goes viral for usually a bad reason, like those people that interrupted Babyface. Do you see that?
Oh yeah,
for Chapel Roan.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Tough.
Terrible.
But I think in general, pop culture journalists have gotten better.
They 100% have, because actually I think I saw this on TV or something, or maybe it may have been Twitter or something. I don't know. But there was a clip of Kate Winslet talking about her experience like right after Titanic. Yeah. And obviously this is a separate discussion about like women in Hollywood, especially at that time.
Yeah.
But like the people that were interviewing her and like just commenting on her on the red carpet, saying how like fat and disgusting she was,
crazy, was insane.
Openly just saying it like it was funny. And you don't see that anymore, thankfully.
Man, it's so funny to think about stuff like that. You used to open up like these tabloids,
it's rags,
and sometimes it wasn't even like the National Enquirer. It would be like big magazines like People, or Us. And they'd be like, hot and not, and like Anne Hathaway showed up and she was beautiful. She shined like the star that she is, and then you're like, that surly, ugly, homely Kate Winslet crawled onto the red carpet with her disgusting rags on.
British
and that was
rat.
Just played for laughs.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yeah,
that's funny.
Take her down a peg.
I feel better.
She'll be all right. She's a millionaire.
Right.
That's usually how that goes. They've got money.
It's part of the job. They signed up for it.
It's part of it, Yeah. Don't complain. You're rich and famous. That means I get to say the meanest thing I can think
I
of.
possibly can, yeah. Or have paparazzi chase you.
Kill you,
yeah.
Inadvertently.
Yes.
So so it does seem like Harrison Ford's having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah.
And so that does, that does help with the word of mouth of the movie. And I do think that that's part of the success, the financial success. I do wonder, I really feel like we've gotten to a point where like a movie can't just be good anymore. And I'm not saying this just to like defend Brave New World, because I haven't seen it, so
neither of us have. Just to be clear,
right? Yeah. Let's just make mention of that. This is not going to be a discussion about the quality of the film.
No,
more so the perception of the film and how the MCU moves forward. But I just feel like movies aren't allowed to just be good anymore. You can't just the movie has to be like
exceptional.
Yeah, or terrible.
Yeah.
There is no decent movies anymore. I mean, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, but
But-
they're not. That's not like clickable enough.
Yeah,
I think
you
that's
can't-
the issue with it. Is like everyone is so hyperbolic about everything on the internet because nothing else really registers. That's why like everyone's always disappointed when IGN says something's a 7.
Yeah.
They're like, well, what am I going to do with this?
Right. And it's
seven means it's good.
Yeah, just
what am I
accept
supposed
it,
to do
man.
with that?
Accept the fact that like it's just a good movie.
Right.
It doesn't have to be, an Oscar-worthy movie.
The
and it
best
doesn't
thing
have to,
since
Yeah.
XYZ.
Yeah.
Or the absolute worst movie I've ever seen.
I think because people think that like this kind of stuff is supposed to like continue to push forward and forward and forward and
Yeah.
forward. And in some respects it is. I think it is. MCU movies are really kind of stuck in a rut. And,
Oh, yeah.
And in this situation, if you continue to just have decent to good movies, I don't know. I think people are expecting every single Marvel movie to come out and push the genre forward.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't expect that of crime thrillers, of martial arts movies,
Comedies.
of comedies,
Yeah.
of dramedies, of dramas.
Yeah.
You don't say to yourself, well, this movie was funny, but did it push the genre forward? This movie was action packed, but I mean, I've seen people jump out of moving cars before.
I will say you do see that a little bit with A24 movies, air quotes.
Yeah. Right.
And you see that with prestige horror.
But see, I think that goes along with my argument, which is that this thought process is only very recent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Back in the day, you could just... I mean, how many of your favorite movies from like the mid to early 90s hover around like a 55 to 60% on Rotten Tomatoes?
I do think that it was a thing, not with franchises, though, but more with auteurs.
Yeah.
Like every Martin Scorsese movie after Mean Streets really was like, all right, what's this guy going to do next?
Yeah, that's true.
And, when he makes like, I don't know, a story about Tibet or something, it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah,
or Silence,
Right.
one of his best movies.
Right.
I Will Die on This Hill. And people are like, I don't know what to do with this because it's about Japan and Portuguese Catholics. What
Right.
do we do here?
But see, that's exactly the point, though, man. He can't just make a movie.
Yeah.
It has to be something where it has to be something you've never seen before. It's and yeah, with Scorsese, for instance, like his last couple of movies, people have been like, yeah, but he's done gangster movies before, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, man. The Irishman is a good movie. It doesn't have to be
a very good movie, yeah.
Goodfellas,
Right.
It's not going to be Goodfellas,
And it shouldn't be Goodfellas. If you want somebody to keep making something interesting, you have to let them explore their craft a bit. Like I wouldn't expect someone of the quality of Scorsese to retread the same thing if he didn't have something to say about it.
Right.
Something different to say about it, I should say.
or if he himself isn't interested in telling that story.
Yeah.
There's no incentive for him to retread what he's done before.
Well, even like Casino isn't Goodfellas.
Right.
They're very different movies.
Yeah.
Similar on the surface, but very different. Mm-hmm. He's never remade the same movie, which, that's what I respect about him. That's what I like about him. That's why I think he's so successful overall, is because he's never gotten pigeonholed by saying, well, I got to make Goodfellas again, because that's what really, really stuck with people.
Yeah. But again, yeah, you're right. They don't, that kind of thought process is for people like that who are held to a higher standard. But I think MCU movies, for instance, they're held to a higher standard when you want to criticize them. But then when you don't, and when you're just like, it's an MCU movie, how good could it really be?
Yeah.
Then you can lower the bar.
Sure.
But when you're trying to criticize it, then now all of a sudden it's like the bar's up here, and
Or
it's
not,
like, well,
not
how come-
even an MCU movie, just saying it's a superhero movie is kind of derogatory in its own
Right,
way.
right.
Outside of like the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy.
I guess genre movies in general
Oh yeah.
are held to that sort of standard.
Yeah.
Of like, when we want to judge them or take them down a peg, that's when it's like, why
It's a
are we
zombie
even making
movie,
this kind of
so-
movie? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with few exceptions, like someone like Tarantino, who plays with genre films in a very unique, interesting way.
Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, if it's like, yeah, it's just a shoot 'em up movie and whatever, it's fine.
It's like, that's okay. It's
Yeah.
fine is okay.
Yeah.
It's fine needs to continue to happen. That's, I guess, the point that I'm trying to make here is it's fine. It's okay.
It's okay to
It was
exist. Yeah,
good. Those kind of movies need to continue
Those
to be
deserve
made.
to exist.
Yeah. And you should go see those kinds of movies. You should go to the theater and support those kinds of movies as well. If you only reserved going to the movie theater for the best of the best or the worst of the worst, if you heard a movie was really bad, then you just, you might see like 5 or 6 movies a year, I guess.
Yeah.
Some movie just came out where this girl plays like a robot or something. She plays like an android, and it goes crazy or whatever. And that movie just came out, and it's already being advertised to be like be a home release.
Companion.
Yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like a movie like that. The makers weren't expecting to have a huge box office smash.
Sure, yeah.
Hands.
It
But
seemed
they
like a
could've.
smaller movie.
Who knows? They could have.
Yeah. Well, one thing that happened with that movie is it was not advertised at all.
At all. I only saw it on TikTok. I saw
Yeah.
a scene on TikTok, and I was like, oh.
Well, and sadly enough, I heard good things about it. So it's like,
It's usually how that goes.
it would have been nice to hear about this movie that I may have been interested in seeing in theaters, but
Right.
but then they point to the box office and being like, well, it didn't perform, so we have to put it on streaming.
Nobody cared. So
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy
gotta go on
we
streaming.
have here.
Gotta go on streaming.
But to what you're saying about that, either best or worst, and that's what people go out to see. I think that's more of a perception thing. I think it is, like we were saying before, more so about the reporting on movies, and by reporting I mean people on social media talking about them more so than actual reporting.
Yeah.
Where they're like, again, just being super hyperbolic and either whining and complaining about something or, saying this is the greatest thing ever that I've ever seen.
Well, and I think to that point, Brave New World kind of proves this.
Yeah.
You if you were to let the internet tell you this is the worst movie ever made.
Yeah.
It's the worst MCU movie and nobody should go see it. And yet normal people just went out and they were like, oh, that looks good. I want to see Red Hulk. I want to see Harrison Ford in a movie. Anthony Mackie, I like that guy.
Yeah.
Captain America, I'll go see that.
Literally, when my brother was talking about the movie, my dad was there as well. We were having our family dinner on Sunday, and my dad chimes in. He goes, "I like Anthony Mackie," and I was like, "Yeah, he's pretty good."
Yeah, he is good, and he deserves this movie, and he deserves the grace that Chris Evans had. Chris Evans did 3 fucking movies.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the first Captain America movie, people shat on that one.
Yeah.
It has a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so critically, it was more well
Well,
received.
the MCU was so new at that point.
Exactly, and I think that there was a lot of ground that they were letting these guys cover for a while.
If you go back and watch that movie, it feels like an old superhero movie.
Yeah.
It feels like something that harkens back to like the early 2000s, 90s kind of style of the hero origin story type deal, like Spider-Man kind of.
It's so sappy and there's this like orange sort of yellow hue to the whole movie.
That means it's World War II. Yeah.
And not to say that I don't like it, because
it's a good movie.
I do like it.
It's a good movie, yeah.
And I like the sentimentality of it. I mean, the scene where he jumps on the grenade, and you're just like, man, he is worth a damn.
That's a good guy.
He's a good dude
Good guy.
right here.
Yeah.
Like, he is worthy.
Yeah. Stands up to the
pick up
bullies.
Mjolnir.
Mule-
Stands up to the bullies.
Mjolnir. Yeah.
I think we're way past any kind of grace being given to these movies. They make too much money.
Yeah.
They take up too much space in the movie theater. They are too big to fail. Except for when they do.
I was going to say they were too big to fail.
Yeah.
In recent years, we've seen that the MCU, in fact, is not too big to fail.
Yeah.
And, this movie seems to be on track to make its money back or close to, which is better than I think anyone anticipated before it came out, for all the reasons we listed. But that is not what I would equate to a success. So I'm curious what you think this sort of middling reception, unless in the next couple of weeks it picks up again and people are like, no, you should actually go see this movie. It's pretty good.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's too many movies coming out.
Yeah.
I want to see The Monkey.
Monkey looks fun.
The Monkey looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. That dude was in The White Lotus. He's
oh,
pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's directed by Osgood Perkins.
What did he make?
Why can't I think of it right now? Recent horror movie, super successful.
Yeah.
About the FBI agent.
Longlegs?
Longlegs.
Oh.
Yeah. Did Longlegs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I knew that.
Yes.
I think that's why that was my first guess, because I knew that.
Yeah. Longlegs. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either. Where it's going to get resuscitated. What do you think this signals for the oncoming MCU sort of slots that have been opened up for such things as we talked about in the past, like Fantastic Four, as well as their big Avengers movies that are already planned to come out, the TV shows like Daredevil, and every other planned movie that's on the slate for the next round of these MCU movies.
Yeah. If I'm Kevin Feige, if I'm an executive there with any kind of pull, what I do is I say, stick to our guns.
We bring back James Gunn.
Just continue on the path that we were on. And don't let this kind of stuff break our stride.
Okay.
Because you brought back Robert Downey Jr. You brought back the Russos. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got big plans ahead. You've got a lot of stuff on the horizon. You've got this Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
There are rumors that they're thinking about bringing Jonathan Majors back, which would be massive. But then what do you do with the Kang Dynasty stuff that you
abandoned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening, although they did bring James Gunn back after
his controversy.
But I think if they bring Jonathan Majors back, they bring him back just to tie up the loose end of Kang.
Sure.
And not have him be the main.
Continuing on. Yeah. It's too late for that. I think.
Yeah,
I think
that's done. That's done.
That is too far gone.
They pivoted way too hard. The Robert Downey stuff was just like, okay, I guess this is what they're doing.
Someone suggested they replace him with Coleman Domingo.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I was like,
Coleman Domingo's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Oh.
I could rock with that. Yeah. Or there was somebody else who people were bringing up, fan casting. I'll think of it later.
Yeah.
But I would say stay the course.
Okay.
Because I kind of feel like with everything that took place with Brave New World, you kind of have to expect, like, if it's a bastardized version of the movie that she was trying to make before,
yeah,
and you broke even, you have to tell yourself, like, okay, the movie got shit on, and financially we still broke even. Word of mouth is good. People are digging it.
It's a quality loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you are in a position to where, like, if people are saying, it's okay.
Yeah.
And this is the, like, purported end of this current phase.
Yeah.
You just go, all right.
Thank God we tied up those loose ends.
Right. And you just move on.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Yeah.
I would not be hung up on this. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't look at Anthony Mackie any differently. I would continue on. I think he's great, and I think you just have to stay the course and, like, ride it out. Now, 2 or 3 movies from now, let's say you're in phase 6 or 7 or whatever they're going to be in. I believe this is the end of 5 and we're going into 6. Let's say this Fantastic Four movie sucks, which I really, really don't think, and I really don't want to think.
And that would be kind of devastating.
That would suck. That would really, really suck.
Yeah.
But let's say that's the case. Then you might have to start thinking about, but here's the other thing though, man. What do you do? What do you do? You have too many properties, too many actors on contract, too much money going in. What do you do?
I think you find yourself in the position to blow it all up.
You can't shut it down.
I think you can. I think in that position, let's say Fantastic Four sucks. Like, I'm not saying, like, is okay. Like, we're saying that apparently this new Captain America movie is. I'm saying, like, it sucks. Like, critically and viewer-wise, people are like, that stunk.
Yeah.
This was not fun. Doesn't make any sense. And it, at the box office, fails. I think at that point, you stop the train. It's going to take a little while, obviously, to slow down. But you got to stop it. You got to put the brakes on. You release whatever you already had planned. And then you blow it all up.
Really?
Yep. And you start from scratch. And you go, okay, everyone on contract, here's your money. Go have fun. We're starting fresh. We're going to sever ties with what the MCU was. This is the new MCU. We're starting fresh. We're going to take this approach of actually take a note out of DC right now, funny enough.
Yeah.
And just go, we're going to not make this a one big coherent, cohesive thing, and instead allow these really good directors to put their own personal stamp on these franchises.
Yeah.
And we'll have The Batman, but then we'll also have, a cartoon like Creature Commandos. And then we'll have a Suicide Squad movie. And do they all connect? Maybe. Maybe they don't. It's not mandatory for our new MCU.
Yeah.
And just allow creatives to figure it out for you, essentially.
Yeah.
And that way you're not tied down by these things that used to be a benefit to you. Because at this point, with all the complications in the multiple timelines and the multiverse stories and all that, it's gotten too complicated. And I feel like it's weighed down the storytelling of this entire thing.
It's definitely convoluted.
And so they're now like suffering for it.
Yeah.
So I do think that with this new era moving forward, they have the opportunity to do like a light version of that, and like you're saying, just say, okay, we're moving forward now on the course that we have decided.
Yeah.
We're not letting the past dictate what's happening. We're not letting, the reception to Captain America decide anything for the future. We're not going to over course correct. We're just going to go with our plan and be confident that what we have planned is the right course. Mm-hmm. And but yeah, I mean, I think that if they strike out in this next round of movies, they got to do something drastic.
Yeah.
I think something serious has to happen. I think it's been time.
It's been.
Enough time has passed that's like, okay, like the MCU like did something that no other franchise has done, but it may be over.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, okay, I see that. That's not a bad course of action.
I promise you, Disney and Marvel will be okay if the MCU ends.
Well, there has to be some kind of end, right? There has to be some ending point.
No, they don't see it that way.
I guess
they don't see Star Wars that way, right? They're like, no, we're just gonna keep.
Yeah, we'll just keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it
until people stop coming, and even then, it's like, well, you still have all the nostalgia bait to get people.
Yeah.
So
well. It also, by the way, it's super funny that DC.
Jesus Christ!
This is vintage.
This looks vintage.
DC tried to speed up their Justice League, and then they're ahead of Marvel on speeding up. Getting past like a very unsuccessful run of a universe.
It's all cyclical, baby. You get there eventually.
Yeah, I think I I don't know. I just feel like the money's. I mean, I guess in the long run, if they come back, they reintroduce characters that are now like I was gonna say Mega Man, Iron Man. You're at a point now, for instance, with the Iron Man character, which is what do you do with him?
Yeah,
he's dead.
Yeah,
okay,
it's over.
Are you gonna make his daughter the new Iron Man? Are you gonna make Pepper Potts Iron Man? Are you gonna bring in some random kid to be like the kid he helped in Iron Man 3? Do you make him Iron Man?
Yeah.
Or do you just you can't just let go of the character. Mm-hmm. They're going to reintroduce him at some point, right? They have to.
Well, they tried to kind of make that happen with Iron Heart.
Yeah,
but that's not the same.
It's very poorly received as well.
Yeah.
And also it was super random.
Yeah.
You don't get to just like randomly be like, yeah, he was helping impoverished kids, and like this kid was like super smart and like understood the technology.
This girl's
and, like,
a genius and figured it out. Yeah.
No, man, you have to at least like ease us into something like that. Make a couple of references in some of the earlier movies. Yeah, just let us know that like this is a thing that's going on, and then when she finally shows up, you go, oh, that's what they were. And you know, to go back to the earlier movies, that is what they were really good at.
Yeah.
They would say something offhanded, mention something.
The Avengers Initiative.
Or the and you know, you get the dun 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 dun, and you're like, oh, is that supposed to? What is that? That's played multiple times now when he mentions that. And the post credit scenes, post credit scenes used to mean something
back when they meant something. Yeah.
And you know, now it's become a meme, and I get it, but they really did used to be like shocking.
It was
things.
exciting.
I mean, let me tell you, out of the movie and them being at this like crash site, and you're like, all these people are trying to pull this thing out of the ground, and then they just do one smash cut to it being Mjolnir, and you're like, now I have to wait for. Oh my god, they're putting Thor in these movies. Yeah. This is gonna be a whole fucking thing. Right. No way, they're actually doing it.
Yeah,
that was exciting, and I know that it's been years now, and you can't catch lightning in a bottle again.
Yeah,
but you can continue to do the things that made you successful. Like now, people expect a post-credit scene.
Right.
And so what they've been doing with the past couple of them has been like subverting people's expectations with like gags and different things. And it's like, all right, man, I think that you made your point, that you know what people are expecting, but sometimes you just got to give the people what they want. The WWE does it all the time. They piss people off. They subvert expectations. They make you think you're going to get what you want, and then that guy loses. And then finally, if they do it right, which they fail a lot of times, but when they do it right, it's beautiful. It's the best. Everybody goes crazy. It's satisfying. Yeah. You turn off the pay-per-view and you go, that was good. That was good. And at some point, you do have to start just giving the people what they want.
You can only Avengers falafel so many times.
Right.
Or shawarma, excuse me. Shawarma.
Yeah. And that kind of goes for the rest of the MCU in general. You kind of have to just give the people what they want a little bit and stop trying to subvert so many expectations.
Or how about this? If you don't have a good post-credit scene, don't do it.
Just don't do it. You don't have to do it.
You don't have to.
You don't have to fuck with people. You can just say, like, there's not going to be a post-credit scene in this movie.
Yeah, make it exciting again. When there is one that's actually worth a damn, people are like, oh, wow, that's cool.
It's not a prerequisite to making a movie, is having a post-credit scene.
You don't have to do it. You don't need to do it.
I can't even remember the last one that actually, like, mattered.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Eternals, though. I do need to see that.
Yeah,
I need to watch that. Just to watch it.
I guess.
It's the only MC movie I haven't seen.
I haven't seen the Marvels.
Oh, I haven't seen the Marvels either.
Yeah.
So those two, Eternals and Marvel.
Yeah.
And the Marvels.
That's it for me, too.
Yeah, I've seen the rest of them. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, this is years in the making. We'll see what happens with these next couple of movies, if they are going to make any big changes, if they're going to stay the course, if these movies are going to be... Because here's the other thing. You know, these next couple of movies could be really good. And and then they're just like, see, we told you. You guys just had to wait. Just had to be patient.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think, too, the audience's credit, they had to figure out like what story they were trying to tell, and also go 5 to 10 years without something tragic happening that completely ruins their plans.
That's true. Yeah. That doesn't help.
No, certainly not.
Tragedy strikes and like destroys. Who knows what could have been if things weren't the way that they were?
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm gonna write that down. It's poetry.
It's good.
Who knows what
It's
could
good.
have been if things weren't the way that they were? All right, let's move it right along. More tragedy has struck. Drake released music.
Boo.
I'm kidding. You
Yeah.
guys, it's fine.
I want you in mi casa.
Drake and PND, a.k.a. Party Next Door, have released a collaborative album called Sexy Songs for You.
With money signs.
In the wake of the biggest year for an artist, almost pretty much of all time. I mean, there's a handful of artists who have had like massive years like this. I'm thinking of Eminem. I'm thinking of 50 Cent. Thinking of Lil Wayne.
The Beatles.
Thinking of Kanye West. Oh, I guess I'm thinking more just hip hop. No. Guys, I know that there's more music than rap music.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm just thinking in terms of rappers right now.
Sure.
Yeah, the Beatles had a couple of good years. I'm saying there's always, in a rapper's career, there's always like that one big year that they don't ever seem to replicate. Because it sends them into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
And then now they are just a star.
Right.
And then, what they do is what they do, and it is what it is. I think Jay-Z probably like 98, 99, probably inching into the year 2000, just...
Big pimpin'.
But his biggest year was probably 98, 99, right? That's got to be...
Yeah.
I mean, right in the middle of like DMX also probably having a... No, I guess... DMX, you got to give 98. Jay-Z, you got to give 99 or 2000. You could even argue 2001.
Well, what was that, like Blueprint?
Blueprint was 2001.
Okay.
98, 99 was like the Volume 1, Volume 2,
Yeah.
Volume 3. 2000 was Rock La Familia.
Volume 1 was huge, though, too.
Yeah, it was. Volume 2 has Hard Knock Life on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So I guess you'd have to say that was the one. Right?
Yeah.
That's like, that sends him into the stratosphere,
Yeah.
and then he kind of is just Jay-Z from that point forward.
Yep. He becomes like a pop name at that point.
Yeah.
That's the crossover success.
Yeah. Eminem has like 8 Mile and Eminem Show in the span, and the 8 Mile soundtrack in the span of like 2000 or 2002 to 2003.
But even before then, like
I'm saying
Marshall
like
Mathers LP.
the thing that like turns them into like royalty to where they can't do any wrong. Because you're right, Marshall Mathers LP was a massive release.
Well, you got like the kids with the blonde dyed hair.
Yeah.
MTV was all over them.
It was big, but if you think about having a movie #1 at the box office, having an album that goes
now
#1.
now my dad knows who you are.
Yeah. And 50 Cent when he came out with Good Rich or Die Trying, Get Rich or Die Trying. I mean, and Kendrick's another example of like Good Kid, Mad City was a big album. Damn was huge.
Yeah.
He won a Pulitzer Prize. To
Mr.
Pimp a
Morale.
Butterfly, people were like, "Oh, this might be one of the greatest albums of all time." He comes back with Mr. Morale, that's also big. But this is the year. This is the year that now he is a superstar, unadulterated like pop culture phenomenon.
Yeah.
That people now, your grandmother knows who Kendrick Lamar
Become iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the shadow of that,
Quite literally, in the shadow of this immense success.
Drake is on the other side of the world,
Yeah.
touring and promoting Sexy Songs for You, his collaborative album with Party Next Door.
Yeah.
What's the tour name again? The Anita.
Anita Max Win.
Okay, someone help me, please. I need a Drake fan.
Anita.
I need a Drake fan to please explain to me what that is supposed to be, because as it stands, it's the lamest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. So I need someone.
Yeah.
Listen, I am truly giving Drake here and his fans the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I need someone to explain to me how that is not the lamest thing ever concocted for a nickname, for a name of a tour, for a rapper in his position.
Yeah.
To call his tour that, to even, like, I get the joke when it first happened. And that was like, it was funny because he's, you know, like, whatever. But to now, like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm struggling to understand how this isn't the lamest fucking thing. First and foremost,
I'm doing a little bit of research here.
Okay.
Just to see if there is information out here.
Look, it's already there. Nina Maxwell.
What the hell is this?
Jersey Club song by Fazo Beats. I think that's him. That's just some random guy doing. Okay,
what is the
go Complex has an article on it.
Drake's alter ego explained.
And this is of January. Okay. So this is all right. This is what I need. Complex. I need some white person to explain it to me.
According to Jessica McKinney, Anita Maxwin was introduced on a Kick live stream in December of 2023. Depicted as a meme cartoon, the character is pictured with a red bob haircut and bangs, circular glasses, and a pink and yellow outfit. It is suspected that the original designer of the cartoon is someone who uses the name created by Seoul, like Seoul, Korea, on Instagram. Her name is inspired by Drake's love for gambling and loosely translates to "I need a max win," which is a popular gambling term. And he's selling merch with the Anita Maxwin character on it. That's it.
It's just a gambling thing that he's now turned into like a meme.
It says that he has a long-standing relationship with cryptocurrency and gambling. The gambling company Stake.
Okay, so unless...
Which is 100% what that recent viral video was of the drone going to his computer.
So lame.
Like, I don't know why it's not labeled as that clearly when everyone... Like, it's so obvious that that's what it is.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, haha, you see, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, even like Drake detractors are falling for it and being like, oh, look at his throw. Oh, pretty rough for him.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
They want... Yeah.
Come on.
Because they want something to make fun of, and it's like... Okay, so unless somebody out there can prove otherwise, that's the lamest fucking shit I've ever heard. So I'm just going to go on record there. Because, I mean, I heard him on the live stream being like, Anita Maxwin, and it's like supposed to be an anime character.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's like a very chibi character.
Yeah, I hate it.
You know, my question with this and also the sexy songs is why now?
Yeah, let's get into that. I just was throwing the Anita Maxwin thing out there because
so
I
people
wanted
understand.
to just get that out of... But yes, let's talk about why now.
Why now?
Why now?
Why now? That's my question. Thinking strategically, after, you know, being on the wrong end of this rap beef with Kendrick Lamar, who is, as you said, having one of the biggest years in all of hip hop. Why now choose to do this tour under this pseudonym with this character, the QT aesthetics, and on top of that, come out with what is essentially a romance album?
I have an answer, I think.
Okay.
I think it's smart. I think it's actually pretty smart.
Okay.
I think that part of the reason that the Kendrick stuff was so successful was how much energy everyone gave to it and continues to give to it.
Sure.
Right? And how much people talked about the the stories that were being introduced, the tea that was being spilled, if you will, the rumors and all this stuff, whackademics going out there and self-inserting and all that. The smartest thing for Drake to do, even though he's made it clear that he doesn't think that he lost the beef.
Yeah.
He's throwing these little shots, which is what he usually does.
Yeah.
The smartest thing to actually do is to just pretend like it's not happening anymore. Because I think, and if I'm right about this, I feel pretty confident about this. Okay. I think Drake is smart enough to understand that even though he and his fans may think that he actually won the beef, whether he thinks he out-rapped Kendrick, which I've seen his fans say that, like, yo, pure rapping ability, Drake won. And I think that's insane as well. But if you do think that, you've lost in the court of public opinion.
Yeah. The perception is that you lost.
Yeah. So it's over.
Yeah.
And there's nothing at this point that you can do. I mean, you're suing your label for defamation. He called you a pedophile at the Super Bowl. Now, whether, Matt Walsh likes it or not really doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
133 million people watched him call you a pedophile. Look directly down the barrel of the camera and go, hey, Drake, it's over, right? Yeah. The last thing that someone in Drake's position should do is go, hold on, guys, I still have more to say. So,
and one more thing.
So if he wants to continue making music, which I think is insane that he actually wants to continue making music, I think you just take your ball and go home. Personally,
just go away.
But if you are going to continue making music, this is, to me, the smartest lane to go down.
Okay. This
is, I think, you don't come back with gangster raps. You don't come back with Lil Wayne collaborations, and like you don't come back doing a collab album with like 21 Savage, because part of the beef was Kendrick saying like, you go to Atlanta to get street cred. That's why you do albums with Future, and that's why you do albums with 21 Savage, because you don't have any street cred. That's why you go to these guys and you leech off of them.
Right.
So the last thing that you do is go and do that thing.
Yeah.
To beef yourself up, to make it look like, I didn't lose, and by the way, I got street guys who are gonna come to Compton for you and all that bullshit. Well, it's all bullshit. That's the thing. With him suing UMG,
the Wizard of Oz has been unveiled to be nothing but a man.
You're nothing but a man.
Yeah.
And we know that now.
Right.
And so I think this is the smartest thing to do.
I agree with you 100%, except for the fact that he continues to reference it on his tour.
Yeah,
the bullet hole shirt, the Rosen stuff.
Yeah, the DeMar DeRozan stuff was he's so lame. How can you guys respect this guy? So lame.
Well, and then on top of that, like
he threw it like a child. Like I don't even like this guy. He threw it like a toddler getting a jersey from a player he doesn't like, and your parents are like filming it, and he's like, I don't even like DeMar DeRozan anymore. He got traded.
Yes. And Australia went wild.
Yeah, like they know what the fuck is going on. Well, one guy did throw the jersey at him, so one guy in that crowd did understand.
Sure. Between those, there's been obvious subliminals throughout the entire thing, and then continuing to beef with like women on social media.
That stuff is weird.
Yeah.
But I think that's just in his nature. I think he's a weird dude. I just think he's a weirdo. So I think he's going to do that. But this is the thing, bro. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that he is changing who he is. I don't think he's learned from this. What I'm saying is he is resorting back to who he was before the beef. All of this stuff is how he used to handle things anyway. He would throw subliminals.
Yeah.
He would diss women instead of dissing the men. He would post stuff on his Finsta because that's what 40-year-old men have.
But it's also not a Finsta if everyone knows it's you.
Yeah, at this point, you kind of have to just, yeah. It is weird because stuff gets posted there, and then it's like under the guise of being his Finsta, so it's supposed to mean something as if he couldn't just post it on his regular page anymore. It's neither here nor there. It's really dumb. I do think that there's something kind of silly. It's kayfabe. People buy into. He posted it on his Finsta, which we don't actually know about, and so we're gonna read these posts in a different context than if he had posted them on his main page.
It's way deeper than it seems.
But I think everything that he's doing is what Drake normally does. This is him. He's resorting back to before the beef, and I think what he's trying to do is to continue. He can throw these little shots and stuff because I think he thinks that it's over, and Kendrick's not gonna make another song about him because he wore a bullet riddled hoodie, right? So he can continue with these stupid little things. Yeah. And everyone's just going to kind of... And people are going to make fun of him like they always do. The same people are going to make fun of him.
Yeah.
But he's selling out tours worldwide. He's in Australia, like, doing stadiums.
He's not losing anyone who's already there still.
Right. And so to those people, he won.
Yeah.
So why would you grovel to those people who believe that you were unjustly treated and think that UMG... conspired against you? Why would you go to those people and say, with your hat in hand, and say, like, please forgive me? Like, to those people, you're still the king.
Yeah.
So I think you have to hone in, tighten your belt a little bit, and start just focusing maybe on not as much of the mainstream and more so like your already massive fan base.
Yeah. Your giant niche.
And just stick with that, right?
Yeah.
I saw some people complaining. They were like, it's still happening. UMG is against them. And look, like his when you search, you see Not Like Us comes up and stuff. And it's like, well, first of all, that's not Drake or Kendrick's fault. That's the algorithm that these companies use.
Yeah.
Drake is obviously heavily involved in the idea of what Not Like Us is. He's going to come up. Those companies like Apple Music and Spotify, they use predictive technology. So if I put Never Gonna, it's going to go give you up. It's already trying to guess what you're...
Yeah.
But I could be thinking of a million other songs and not that song.
And I guarantee a lot of people are searching Drake diss.
Yeah. And then Not Like Us comes up.
Yeah.
So if you put in Drake first, it's going to predict... Like, I know that I'm talking to people who understand this, but the people who think that there's actually some conspiracy going on in the background, I'll just say, for instance, fucking Drake and Party Next Door are all over my Apple Music. They're all over it. And I listen to, like, my shit is the Beatles and Rock Marciano. Like, that's all what my Apple Music is.
You have two wolves inside you.
So it's weird for Party Next. I've never listened to a single Party Next Door thing ever. I don't think.
Well, and if you think about it, just on the surface of it all, right? Like, it does UMG no good to get people to not listen to someone who's on their label.
Yeah, I mean, it's so silly to even justify the argument.
They're going to promote them like as much as they can. They
UMG
want money.
Is sitting above with the puppet hands or the
Let
puppet
them
strings.
fight.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
If Drake won the battle, you don't think that this same argument could be said for Kendrick's side?
Yeah.
It's so silly, to think that.
Well, again, I think people just get like you say, get wrapped up in the kayfabe of it all and the drama, and they just have this fantasy about, oh yeah, this guy's being suppressed. This is our hero. We gotta defend him.
Story, yeah.
So I mean, whatever floats your boat, man. You're not hurting anybody. So you're being annoying on the internet, but other than that, I mean,
and that's what Drake is doing. He's just being annoying on the internet now.
True. And in Australia.
Yeah. I don't think much comes of this. I mean, well, first of all, it's sold 250,000 in its first week, so it's not this massive like world-eating Drake album that like usually he puts stuff out and it's like 5 or 6, sometimes 7. Like he does crazy numbers when he puts stuff out.
I just had this thought. I'm sorry to cut you off, but it just hit me. Maybe the reason why he decided to do this one first was because he could have this out of saying it's a collab album. This isn't my real debut after.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beef.
for sure. Well, I mean, and reportedly he's on majority. Like it's mostly him, and it's an easy thing to. It's like when he put out 100 gigs.
Yeah.
He does this shit all the time.
Wagwan Delilah.
Yeah, he can put out these weird things and be like, it's just some stupid stuff.
It was for fun, yeah.
But if people like it, you can go, maybe it's the single to my album. I don't know.
Yeah. I meant to do that, actually.
It's so, dude, it's an age-old tactic of being like, I don't even like it. And then people are like, you don't like it? It's great. And it's like, well, I mean, I kind of like it, whatever.
Yeah.
It's
whatever. Fine.
I'll just put it on the album.
It's pretty good,
It's not a big
I guess.
deal. I guess I'll film a video for it, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So this is it's an easy way to like just get back into doing the kind of shit that you want to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've heard some of the songs and this shit is like, this is for the bitches. This is we're trying to get the party started. Forget all this bicker and beef, man. I'm trying to have a good time. It's like, you're 40. You're 40, bro.
But then there's also references and sneak disses again in it. So
I mean, I don't think you can just completely abandon it. I think you do have to kind of, because he doesn't think that he lost. I mean, Jay didn't think he lost, and he kept sneak dissing and not even sneak dissing, just outright saying like, fuck Nas.
Yeah.
Like, even though he lost resoundingly, I don't think you just drop it. I mean, if we haven't been played this whole time and these guys, and then there's real deal true animosity between these two guys, if I was in his position, I wouldn't just let it go. I would definitely throw a little jab here and there, like, I mean, sure, fucking ESPN thinks you won, but I still think you're a bitch. I don't care. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, so I agree, but I think it's in the way that he's doing it that rubs me the wrong way. And it's because it's all framed within this thing of like, everyone turned their back on me.
Yeah.
Nobody likes me anymore. My
Right.
friends turned their back on me.
Right. Everyone's against
me now.
He's the victim.
And it's like, Jay-Z never did that.
That's true.
Jay-Z was like, no, fuck you still. I don't care.
Right.
And it was way less embarrassing that way. It's like,
Yeah.
don't make me feel bad about you, like, have some pride.
Right. Right.
Even if you get beat up, you can be like, yeah, but he didn't kill me.
Yeah, I'm still alive.
I'm still alive, motherfucker.
I only lost one tooth.
Maybe that's what he was doing with the bullet
Yeah,
hoodie.
Yeah, I'm still alive.
I'm still alive though.
No, you're right. There is a little to that. It is embarrassing to make it seem like you're the victim.
Like, don't try to make me feel sorry for you.
Well, and also because, like, not to say that you started it. There's no way to know who started it. I mean, they've been going back and forth for years.
Yeah.
But this most recent thing, Kendrick definitely was like, fuck a big three. So that opens the door to this whole thing.
But
Then-
that's been consistent. That's been his messaging consistently.
Right.
There's
right.
old clips of Drake in that interview where he's talking about Kendrick.
Yeah.
And being like, yeah, he said these things, but let's be honest.
Right.
He can never do what I'm doing.
Right. So the messaging has been consistent from his side, from Drake's side. I mean, he didn't start it, but he definitely ramped it up.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, and you can just go back and look at, I mean, people have done this already. I'm not breaking any new ground here, but you can just go back and look at how all of this took place. So to now play the victim it's just funny now at this point. Yeah. It's hilarious to be like, everyone turned their back on me. It's like, well, I mean, maybe a lot of the people in the mainstream did because they didn't realize how entertaining Kendrick was going to make it.
Yeah.
And so once you've got people at Indian weddings singing to Not Like Us.
When the dust settled.
Yeah. That's when you have to, maybe some people did turn their back on you because you were just a pop star and people move on.
Sure.
And now Kendrick is up there with you and people don't want to accept the fact, even though GNX is back on the charts. I just read something where like 3 of his albums. He's the first rapper to have 3 albums in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean the Super Bowl did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Again,
It made people aware. Yeah.
Whether Newsmax liked it or not,
Yeah.
his streams are up like 400%.
Yeah.
So Drake puts out an album, and it knocks him off the number 1 for like a couple days, and then Kendrick's back up, and now The Weeknd is in there. They're all vying for that number 1 spot.
Sure.
This is good for music. This is good.
Yeah, yeah.
So
the competition is good for everyone.
Yeah. So you're not the victim. You're the loser.
Yeah.
A loser isn't necessarily a victim.
No, not
you
at all.
You lost. You weren't victimized.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's I think that goes down exactly with the entire lawsuit thing. Is like that is such a victim move to do. Is like I didn't lose. The deck was stacked against me.
Yeah,
that's why
I never had a chance.
"Quote unquote" lost was because something else outside of my control did this.
Yeah,
it's like no, just as an adult. I was gonna say as a man, but as an adult, just take your lick.
Well, but he has no humility. I think that's where this all goes back to. Is Drake is somebody who is devoid of any kind of humility,
and that may be his fatal flaw.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because again, we talked about this from almost the beginning of this entire beef. If he were to just accept it and move on, in way earlier than Sexy Songs, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just move on and in my opinion, not even reference any of that beef stuff at all. Stop whining. Just make fun music, make party music, have a good time, get deep, talk about, your own feelings and whatnot, not about how much of a victim you are, but just like do something completely outside of this arena. People would move on with you.
I think we even said this on one of the shows when we were talking about this. I think we even mentioned like just move on.
Yeah. We absolutely
just have
did.
some humility, accept it, then get back to making party music. Everyone will let it go.
Take a break and then move on to making the next number 1.
That ship has sailed.
But he was so capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And it's like to see him again consistently make the wrong choices over and over and over again is like you have to stop stepping on those rakes, man.
Yeah.
Like as someone who's enjoyed his music in the past, like it's frustrating almost to see him continue to do this.
Yeah. Can you imagine being in his position and like Not Like Us comes out, and then what people don't realize is he also released another diss track like after Not Like Us, but it just got buried by the bull that was the song. So it just bum rushes through your response. No one cares. I don't even remember what it was called. It bum rushes through that, and then you just have to watch as like it just goes like this, just goes skyrockets, and you have to sit there and just be like, hey man, I thought we were just like doing like putting songs on Instagram.
Wait.
And then and now he's at the Super Bowl. You can't even because he placed like $100 million on the game because he's a gambling addict apparently.
That's another story.
And he can't even watch the fucking game without seeing.
Biggest the what? Biggest the what?
What? So
yeah,
that would be tough. That would be tough for me to. That'd be a lot of pills to swallow there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but I think as most people will realize, because everyone takes their licks in this life. Okay. You gotta learn to take them, accept it,
and lick them back,
and lick them right back, and move on. Move on with your life. Otherwise, your entire existence is dictated by the lick you took.
Yeah.
You can't let that happen. That's like
you just become the lick.
It's exactly no. It's like taking unlimited licks until you let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You try to get your lick back. Didn't work.
Didn't happen.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Just accept it.
Accept it. Take it. Learn from it. Move on. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. And on that note, we're going to move on from this episode. But before we do that, we have two things that we need to do, and you know what they are. So say it with me, kids. It is now time for the cheers of the week. So, Obi, you want to...
Why?
Just calm down. You don't have to crack them open like that. You want to start us off? Can you?
I would love to. My cheers of the week goes to the Paddington trilogy.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about their movie.
Not only did they put it out, I saw it. And my friend, it maintains the quality that I expect from a Paddington film.
Are you telling me these are three of the greatest movies ever made?
Okay, from the viewpoint of like saccharine cinema, absolutely. Movies that just make you feel good. Movies that are just a nice warm hug.
Yeah.
I won't even degrade them in saying they're children's movies, because they're not. Like they are just feel good movies. They're very cute. They're clever. They have, they do the nice thing that most quote unquote kids movies do, which is have jokes that are complex enough, excuse me, for the adults to get.
Right.
It's all very entertaining. It's fun to watch. And, I think Paddington is like one of the best kids movie characters of all time. Like, it is just so pure. There's nothing like, I don't know. There's nothing negative or like, a lot of these characters have this sort of, they feel the need to make them complicated in a way that I think Paddington proves to be unnecessary. Because he has his own problems, right?
Yeah.
He has his own conflicts. But it never gets to the point where it's like, I don't know. It never leaves you in this negative space.
Yeah.
It's by the end, it's always like good vibes. And if there was a movie series for good vibes and you're feeling down, humble yourself and watch a Paddington movie.
Yeah.
Is all I'm going to say. So, honestly, they could keep making these forever because he's grown with his family, and I could see them literally making these forever.
Until he's like a giant bear.
Until he's a full-grown bear. Yes. They show full-grown bears.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yeah, he will be at some point if they continue making
yes.
these movies.
Yes, he will be a full-grown bear.
Yeah.
Which I'm here for. So, yeah, Paddington in Peru is a must-watch for me, and I hope for you.
Why didn't they just... That was good.
Thank you.
That was good. Why didn't they just call it Paddington 3? Paddington in Peru.
I don't know. They felt the need to have that, I think, in case people hadn't seen the other ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's less of a jump.
But it is like a direct sequel to the second one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could go into it blind, though. I mean, they explained enough of like, Paddington's a bear who was... Actually, they do a flashback.
Okay.
You're able to see the full story if you're jumping into Paddington, Peru. Because it's been a little while since part 2.
I mean, I wouldn't jump into...
You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I mean, I'd argue I would never I wouldn't jump into the third movie of anything, but especially not Paddington. You are really doing yourself a disservice by not watching 1 and 2. They are fantastic movies.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely movies.
And I'm happy to say Paddington in Peru continues that trend, which I was worried about because, you never know.
You never know.
But no, it
well, and I also didn't like the reason I brought that up is because I kind of was worried because they didn't go with the naming format that it was going to be some weird movie,
like a side story.
Yeah.
No,
it was like some like other writer, some weird director comes in and
it's a full on Paddington 3, like continues their story well. And if it is the last one they do, I think it's a great conclusion to the story. But I'd be happy to see many more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. My cheers of the week is going to WWE Vault.
Oh.
So, if you go on YouTube, WWE Vault is actually a page that's different from the main WWE page. And it is where they have apparently, and I don't know this to be a fact, but it seems to be the case. They have given some intern or some random wrestling fan the reins to all of the back catalog. And so what this person has been doing has been just releasing full matches on YouTube, and he started off with the classics. Now he's doing house shows, random Raws. Like it is a wealth of if you are a wrestling fan and a WWE fan, and you just want to watch some like random match. You used to have to go to like the WWE page if you were using YouTube. Obviously, there's other ways to watch these matches, but if you were using YouTube, you go to the WWE page and you would hope that they uploaded it. But the problem was maybe the guy that you want to see is excommunicado at that point. You know,
I didn't want to bring
persona
it up,
non grata,
but yeah,
that was a big deal.
Maybe he did something terrible,
so you don't get to see that match, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know, part of the fun of rewatching some of these matches is watching like classic entrances, hearing classic music.
Right.
WWE was doing this weird thing where they were like, if you want to watch the whole match, you got to go to Peacock. We're gonna give you the like 15-minute, like just the match itself. It was a very like cut up weird version of but the Vault has been just putting out the whole thing.
That's awesome.
Classic, uncut, by the way.
Oh.
Not like for instance, like if you wanted to see an unprotected chair shot, that's like old school shit where, you know, The Rock just hits Mankind in the head with the chair like 27 times, gives him brain damage, like unreversible, lifelong brain damage.
CTE in real time.
You couldn't watch that on the WWE page because what they would do is they would do this weird thing where like you could see it coming and then the image pauses for a second and then it comes back.
That's awful.
Oh, it's terrible.
That
man.
is awful.
Terrible. And then when somebody cut, you know, they bladed or whatever, the whole screen goes black and white because they didn't want you to see the color.
That is horrible.
Terrible. So for years they've been doing this weird PG thing of cutting up old matches so that they were more palatable for children, which why would you be sitting around watching like Hell in the Cell with your kid? Like it's a
Come here,
violent
boy.
Well, you have to
check this out.
If you're doing that, then I mean if a kid is just randomly stumbling on a page, I mean maybe you should do like a parental controls and things like that. But if
it's on every other streamer, like why not do that? Just put it behind a parental wall and be like,
well, no. Okay, let me
TV
just say,
mature.
let me correct my. There's a misunderstanding. On the streamer, you can watch it unedited. On YouTube is where they would cut it up.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
that's still dumb.
Yeah, still dumb. Still dumb.
You can still do a parental control thing on YouTube.
You should. Yeah. Just to. Well, fear not, everyone, because the WWE Vault is where you want to see those unprotected chair shots.
Yeah,
they're there. So it's just fun because every time I go on YouTube, I'm always just randomly scrolling through like last week tonight and like the latest, I don't know, Drew Gooding video or like some random video game walkthrough. And then WWE Vault pops up and it's like Dudley Boys versus Edge and Christian. And you're like some random Raw where they had like a crazy ladder match. You're like, oh, sick.
Don't mind if I do.
I will kill 20 minutes watching this instead. So there you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right.
Yep.
All right. One last thing before we leave, and that is to review these brewskis. So tonight's brew was from Green Bench. It's their Postcard Pils, an American Pilsner. Obi, what did you think?
Oh, interesting noise. You know, I'm feeling pretty good on this one.
Yeah.
I think it is what a pill should be. It's crispy. Not overly sweet. A little bit of bitter in there.
Yep.
You know, I think I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good example of what a pilsner should be. Yeah. And I appreciate the double cold read on the can.
Yeah. We're gonna start giving higher scores to people with cold reads.
With cold reads, yeah, should incentivize you.
Yeah. So if you want a 6 from this show, put a little cold read on there.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna give it a 5. Yeah, it's crispy. It's a little dry. Not too dry though. You know, just enjoyable. This is something you can just rip these.
Absolutely.
Just rip them.
I have
not yeah. I got to catch up. But not in a way that's like, you know, you're just drinking some swill. You're just got to get through it. Like these will go down smooth.
It's not a light beer, but it's a light beer.
Right.
If you know what I'm saying.
Right. almost a little Czech Pilsy. A little. I'm sure that they would. I mean, it's an American Pilsner, it's an American hop profile, so I'm sure that they don't use any like weird Czech hops or anything like that, or malt or whatever. But
they're Mount Hood hops.
It's a little
grown in the
right.
U.S.
That's right.
Yeah.
All in the U.S. of A, baby. Hooray.
And flaked maize. So it's got a little corn in there.
Yeah. All right, you think we got it?
I know we got it.
All right. If Obi says we got it, then this episode is over. This has been the One Baron Podcast for myself, Marco Duple, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Go watch Paddington.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful week.
We love you. Pretty good.